Good morning everybody, it's Jude Lennon here, storyteller with Little Lamb Tales and also an author. Welcome to our another week, I think it's week 9 we're in now of lockdown. Wow, that's gone quick, hasn't it? And we've got another week full of magical stories in the story bag. Now all this week we're going to do traditional tales, so these will be tales that you probably know and recognise. Maybe you've got favourites, maybe if you've got grown-ups watching with you, they have got favourites from when they were little, so hopefully there'll be something for everyone that they will enjoy this week. Right then, Lammy, are we ready to make a start? Should we do our hello song then? Are we ready everybody? Here we go. Hello everyone, how are you? Hello everyone, how are you? Hello everyone, how are you? How are you today? If you're feeling okay, give us a wave. Hi Jen. If you're feeling pretty good, give yourselves a pat on the back. If you're ready for stories, traditional tale stories, give yourself a smile. Okay, here we go. Right then, Lammy, let's see what's coming out of the bag first today. Oh, can we see that, everybody? Okay, fantastic. I think this is probably one of my favourite traditional tales because it's got so many actions, it's action-packed, and there's a baddie, and we get all kinds of stuff going on in there. Okay, are we ready, Lammy? Yes, here we go, everybody. Remember how we start. Long, 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 all together now. Long ago, far away from here, in the middle of the woods, there was a mummy pig, and she lived with her 3 little pigs. One day, Mummy Pig said to the little pigs, "You're getting too big to live with me now. You must go into the woods and make your own houses, and I will come and see you on Sunday for Sunday lunch." So the 3 little pigs set off. Shall we go? They walked and walked and walked and walked until they found a big pile of straw and hay. Said the first little pig, "That looks warm and cosy and soft. I'm going to make my house with that." So she gathered up the hay and the straw and she started to make her house. She'll make her house. She built the walls. Let's do the walls. She put on the roof and she went inside for a nice cup of tea. The other pigs carried on walking. Let's go. They walked and walked and walked and walked until they saw a big pile of sticks and bits of wood. Said the second little pig, "They look good. I think I will use those." So he gathered up the sticks and the twigs and the bits of wood and he started to make his house. Should we build the house? He built the walls and he put on the roof and then went inside for a nice cup of tea. The last little pig carried on. Let's go. She walked and walked and walked and walked until she saw a big pile of bricks. "They look really big and strong, and I think I'll use those to make my house," she said. Are you ready to build the walls? She built the walls, she put on the roof, and then she went inside for, guess what? A nice cup of tea. Uh-oh. In those woods lived the big bad wolf. And that big bad wolf loved nothing more than eating piggies. One day the wolf got up, he rubbed his tummy. I'm very hungry today. Let's see what I can find to eat. I believe there's some new little pigs in town. So the wolf set off. Let's go. He walked through the woods and he came to the first little pig's house of straw. He knocked on the door. Are you ready? What does he say? Little pigs, let me in." Are you ready to join in? "No, not by the hair on our chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." So the wolf huffed and puffed and blew the house of straw and hay down. It was ruined, and the little pig inside went, "Oh, no, no, no," and ran away as quickly as she could. Let's go. She ran, and she ran, and she ran to her brother's house of sticks. "Please let me in, the wolf is coming." And so the pigs closed the door, and they sat under the table, shaking. The wolf was still hungry, and by now he was a bit grumpy as well. He carried on walking. He walked through the woods until he saw the house of sticks. He knocked on the door. What does he say, everybody? Little pigs, let me in. What do the pigs say? No, not by the hair on our chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And the wolf huffed and puffed and huffed and blew the house of sticks down. And the two little pigs inside said, oh no, oh no, oh no. And they ran away as quickly as they could. They ran and they ran and they ran to their sister's house, the house of bricks. Let us in, the wolf is coming. Don't worry, she said, I have a plan. She filled the cooking pot with water and put it to boil on the fire. And then she calmly sat down at the table and waited. She didn't have long to wait because the wolf was on his way. By now, the wolf was very hungry and he was very angry because he was hungry. That's right, everybody. The big bad wolf was hangry and nobody wants to see that. The wolf arrived at the little pig's house. He knocked on the door. What's he say, everybody? Little pigs, let me in. What do the pigs say? No, not by the hair on our chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. So the wolf huffed and puffed and huffed and puffed, but he could not blow the house down. He made his way up onto the roof. Let's go. He went up and up and up and up and up, and he called down the chimney, little pigs, let me in. And what did the pig say? No, not by the hair on our chinny chin chin. I'm coming in. And so the wolf climbed into the chimney and down he went. Let's go. Down, 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 until he slipped and he fell. Splash! Into the boiling water. Ow! Said the wolf, and he leapt out of the water and he ran out of the door and he never came back. As for the pigs, they decided they'd like to make 3 houses next to each other. So the third little pig helped her brother and sister make 2 more houses out of bricks. Let's go. They made the walls and put on the roofs, and they were very happy indeed. And when Mummy Pig came on Sunday for lunch, they had a lovely, lovely time, but they didn't have roast pork. The end. Give yourselves a clap. Fantastic. We like that story, don't we, Lammy? It's a favourite, isn't it? Fantastic. So let's see what's going to come out next. We've had a story about the pigs and the big bad wolf. Oh, this story. Now, in this story, the mouse only comes in at the very end of the story, but the mouse is very important because this story is called The Enormous Turnip. If you know this story, get ready to join in with the actions. If you don't know it, don't worry, we'll let you know when you need to join in. Right, Lammy, you hold on to the mouse for me. Thank you very much. Here we go. Are we ready? Long, 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 long. Long, all together now. Long ago, far away from here, there was a farm, and the farmer had been busy planting turnips, and he weeded them and made sure they were growing right. He'd looked after them, and the day came when he said to his wife, I think one of those turnips is ready. We'll make it into soup tonight. Great idea, she said. You go and pull it out of the ground and I'll make it into a wonderful soup. So the farmer rolled up his sleeves, roll up your sleeves, and he went out into the field, and he saw the top of the turnip, and he grabbed hold of the leaves, he got them, and he got ready to pull. You ready? And he pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled. The turnip would not move, so he called for his wife. Come and help me. So the wife stood behind the farmer. He got hold of the leaves at the top of the turnip. Are you ready? And they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled. But still the turnip would not move. "We need more help," said the wife. "I'll call for our son." "Come on, son," she said. "Come and help." So the son came and stood behind the mum, who stood behind the dad, who took hold of the leaves of the turnip. Are we ready? And pulled, and pulled, and pulled. The turnip would not move. We'll need more help. So the little boy called for his sister. "Come on, sis, come and help." So the sister stood behind her brother, who stood behind his mum, who stood behind the dad, who had hold of the turnip leaves. Are you ready to pull? And they pulled, and they pulled, and they pulled. The turnip would not move. "Goodness me, we're going to need more help." "I know, we'll call for the dog," said the little girl. "Come on, Shep." So the dog came over. He stood behind the girl, who stood behind the boy, who stood behind the mum, who stood behind the dad, who took hold of the turnip leaves. "We ready, everybody? And pull, and pull, and pull." Still, the turnip would not move. "We'll need more help." The dog woofed, woof, 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 and the cat knew that that meant she had to go and help. The cat stood behind the dog, who stood behind the girl, who stood behind the boy, who stood behind the mum, who stood behind the dad, who took hold of the turnip leaves. "We ready, everybody? And pulled, and pulled, and pulled." But still the turnip would not budge. Just then a little mouse scurried up. "Can I help?" "Oh, that's very kind of you," said everybody, "but you're very little. I don't think you'll be able to help." "Oh, go on. Even my little hands could help." "Very well, you can help as well." So the mouse stood behind the cat, who stood behind the dog, who stood behind the girl, who stood behind the boy, who stood behind his mum, who stood behind the dad, who bent down, took hold of the turnip leaves. Are we ready? And pulled, and pulled, and pulled. "I think it's moving," said the dad. "Keep going." They pulled and pulled and pulled. It's definitely moving. One more go. I think it'll be there. They pulled and pulled and pulled, and pop! Out of the earth came the most enormous turnip the farmer and his wife had ever seen. It was so big that everybody, even the little mouse, had to help carrying it back to the farm kitchen. They made their way back into the kitchen with the enormous turnip, and for the rest of the day they all helped to make the tastiest, yummiest turnip soup. And guess what, everybody? They lived happily ever after. The end. Give yourselves a clap. Fantastic. You see, you should never underestimate little animals. They're often very, very strong. Ants are incredibly strong. So you should never underestimate a little animal. Here we go. Let's see what's going to be in there next. Should we have a look and see, Lammy? What's our last story going to be? Ah, right. I don't know if you can see that. We've got a sparkly golden egg. Any ideas? I wonder what that could be. Let's find out, shall we? Now again, the egg only comes in really towards the end of the story. Here we go. Long, 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 all together, long ago, far away from here, where there was lots of woods and trees, there was a little cottage. And in that cottage lived a mum and her son, Jack. And they didn't have a lot of money, and there was never really enough to eat. And one day, Mum said to Jack, "Jack, you must take the cow to market and sell her for as much money as you can, because then we'll have enough money to buy some food to last us." So Jack took hold of the cow, whose name was Daisy, by the way, and they set off. Let's go. They walked and walked and walked and walked and walked some more. Through the woods, halfway through the woods, suddenly on the path in front of them, there was a strange old man with a very long beard and a bit of a pointy hat. "Oh, hello," said Jack. "Are you okay? You lost?" "Oh, no," he said. "I was going to go to market to buy a fine cow, but I like the look of yours. Could I buy it from you?" "Oh, well, yes, that would be great," said Jack. "It would save me having to go. But, how much will you give me?" "Oh, I'm not going to give you money," said the old man. Really? Well, what are you going to give me then? Said Jack. I'm going to give you magic beans. Magic beans? That sounds so cool, said Jack. All right, you're on. And he held out his hand, and the man counted out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magic beans into Jack's hand. And he took the cow, and he disappeared, and they never saw him again. Jack held the beans tightly in his hand, and he ran home as quickly as he could. He ran, and he ran, and he ran, and he got home, and he said, "Hey, Mum, I'm back." "You're quick," she said. "How come you're back so early?" "Well, I met a man in the woods and he said he would buy the cow." "Brilliant," she said. "What did you get for the cow?" "Well, he didn't give me money. He gave me something even better." "What do you mean, even better?" said his mum. "Well, he gave me beans. Magic beans." "Magic beans? There's no such thing. Oh, you've been had, you silly boy." And she picked up the beans and she threw them out of the window, and she sent Jack up to his room. Poor Jack. Show me his sad face. And he made his way up into his bedroom, and he stayed there for the rest of the day. And when night came, he pulled up his covers, and soon he was asleep. The next morning, when he woke up, he thought, "Goodness me, it's dark in here." And when he pulled back the curtains, outside of his window, blocking all of the light, was the most enormous beanstalk he'd ever seen. "Well, that looks cool," said Jack. "There's only one thing for it. I'll have to climb it." So he set off. Let's go. He went up and 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 up to the very, very top of the beanstalk. And he climbed out and he found himself in a different land. And when he looked into the distance, he could see a castle. It looked enormous. "I'll go there," he said. So he set off. He walked up the path, and he walked up the path, and he walked up the path. And when he arrived at the castle, it was enormous, far bigger than a normal castle. The door was huge. Said Jack. "I wonder if a giant lives here." He found a little door in the side of the big door, and he opened it up and he crept inside, and he crept his way through the corridors. And as he did, he passed rooms and he looked in. Enormous chairs, huge tables, the most enormous bed, gigantic wardrobes. "A giant definitely lives here," he gulped, and he carried on until he found his way into the kitchen. And there in the kitchen was a giant lady, and she was cooking the biggest piece of bacon and the biggest egg that Jack had ever seen. Oh, it smelled good. "Oh, I'm hungry. That smells delicious. I'm going to climb up on the mantelpiece for a better look." He climbed up onto the mantelpiece. That's like the shelf over the top of the fire. And he stood on it to get a better look. That did smell good. But as he was stood there, he heard something strange. Crying. "I don't like it here. I want to go home. Oh, will somebody please take me home?" Jack looked along the shelf and he saw there was a cage, and in the cage was a little goose. And the goose was crying, and he said, "Are you all right?" "No, I'm not all right. The giant goose napped me, and I don't like it here. I want to go home." And when Jack looked closely, at the bottom of the goose's foot there was a little label, and it said Rose Cottage. "That's our cottage. We lost a goose. You must be ours. I'll take you home with me." And he opened the cage door and he took out the goose and tucked her under his arm. He was just about to make his way down to the ground when, into the room came a loud noise. If you know the words, join in. "Fee, fi, fo, thum. I smell the blood of an Englishman." And into the kitchen came the giant. He was huge, and even worse, he did not look happy. "What do you mean? There's nobody here but me," said the old lady. "Now sit yourself down and have your dinner." And she put the bacon and the egg on his plate, and he started to eat. That's delicious." And then he stretched. "I'll have a little nap." And he fell asleep. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard a giant snore, but it's very loud. Can you snore loudly? While the giant was sleeping, Jack thought, now's my chance. Tucking the goose safely, he climbed down the mantelpiece. Down, 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 down. But just as he got to the door, uh-oh, the giant woke up. What does he say, everybody? Fee, fi, fo, thum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Uh-oh, thought Jack, and he set off as quickly as he could. Let's go. He ran, and he ran, and he ran. He looked over his shoulder. Uh-oh, the giant was coming. What was he saying, everybody? Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Jack ran and ran and ran. He looked again. Uh-oh, the giant was still coming. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Jack ran and eventually made it to the top of the beanstalk. And he started to climb down it really quickly. Let's go. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Halfway down, he said, Mum, get the axe. His mum came running out with the axe, and as soon as Jack had jumped down, she started to chop. Let's go. Chop, 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 chop. The beanstalk wobbled this way. Let's go. It wobbled this way. It wobbled, and it wobbled, and it fell. And it left the giant at the top of the beanstalk in his own land, going, I'll be back. No, you won't, said Jack's mum. That's enough. Take yourself off. And the clouds covered, and they never saw the giants again. I'm really sorry I shouted at you, said Mum. I've been ever so worried about you. Oh, don't worry about that now. Look, I've got the goose, and it's our goose that was stolen. Oh, that's brilliant. So that means we can never be hungry again because we've got eggs. Oh, that's great news. But the strangest thing, the next day when Jack's mum went to check and the goose had laid an egg, it wasn't a normal egg. It was golden. And every egg that the goose laid after that day was golden too. And so Jack and his mum were never hungry or poor again because everybody came from miles around to buy these beautiful eggs. And so they lived happily ever after. The end. Give yourselves a clap. Fantastic. Oh, thanks ever so much for tuning in this morning. I hope you enjoyed that. I always enjoy telling traditional tales because there's always lots of action in them and lots of adventure and things like that. So Lamby and I hope you enjoyed that. We're back again on Wednesday with more traditional tales, and then tomorrow we're doing a special book reading on Jude Lennon author page with Will from Hal's Books because it's neurodiversity week this week, so we're going to be reading from our Hal's book stories at 10 o'clock on Jude Lennon author. Look forward to seeing you then, and until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Let's do our goodbye song. Goodbye everyone, nice to see you. Goodbye everyone, nice to see you. Goodbye everyone, nice to see you. Nice to see you today. Give yourselves a round of applause and a pat on the back and a fun dubby dozy. Thanks very much. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. That's lovely to hear. Thanks everybody. Take care. Bye.